Finally, back in the kitchen. It's been a long time. I shouldn't have kept you without a strong rhyme to step to. Think of how many week shows you slept through. Time's up. I'm sorry I kept you. Shout out to Rakim. This one or that one was for all the old hip hop heads. If you know, you know. But yeah, it's been a while since I've done an episode. Life does, sometimes get in the way. Dealing with life and all the little things that just pop up. And I actually was experiencing a little burnout too, mentally and things. So I took a little break, but back in the game, back at it. And today we kind of continuing the conversation about alternative flowers. Well, alternative flowers, right? We continuing that conversation by looking at the ways, or at least one way, in which we could use cornmeal. Now, this is not a sponsored episode, but as you could see, I have the ProMassa brand here. And I mean, the only reason I have the ProMassa brand on display, as it were, is because ProMassa really is, I would say, the most popular brand of cornmeal available here in Trinidad and Tobago. It is a staple, and of course, cornmeal is what we use to make some of our favorite dishes. Stuff like, of course, the cuckoo, pastels, corn pie, pastel pie, empanadas, and that kind of thing, arepas as well. But today, I'll be making a breakfast item, which is cornmeal porridge. So cornmeal porridge is something I grew up on. When we didn't have cream of wheat, or we didn't have oats or sago, my mom, my grandmother would make cornmeal porridge. So today I'm going to make a nice little cornmeal porridge. It's going to be nice, it's going to be flavorful, and of course it's going to be nutritious as well. So a quick word, I want to just take a quick word before we get into actually making the porridge, and just talk about the use of spices. So of course, using spices in porridge does give it great flavor. But, our elders, your mom, your grandmother, your father, your grandfather, whoever was cooking for you while you was growing up, they really knew what they was doing by using some of these spices, incorporating these spices in our food. Not only they give great flavor, but each of these spices have unique health benefits. So what I will do is I'll post a couple links in the video description if you want to read up on the health benefits of the spices that I'll be using today in this cornmeal porridge. But yeah, it's not just for flavor, it's for health as well. So health and strength, that's what we're going for. And yeah, I think I talk enough, so let me jump into making this cornmeal porridge. As a quick thing, an easy thing, but you could get a few steps wrong. We're gonna make a nice, smooth, creamy, hearty cornmeal porridge. Let me get into it. All right, so to get the cornmeal porridge started, I'm going in with 2.5 cups of full cream milk. And of course, if you want to keep this vegan, you could use almond milk or coconut milk if you want. So if that's your preference, feel free, but I'm using full cream milk. All right, so to flavor up our cornmeal porridge, I'm using a couple different spices today. The first spice that we're using is cardamom. So I'm using some whole cardamom here. And of course, this is, just a guide. You don't have to follow this to the letter. So if you want to use more cardamom, less cardamom than I use here, feel free, it's all your preference. I'm just using 2 pods for this. And what you want to do when you're using cardamom is to make sure that you split the pods so that it opens up like this. And that will get the most flavor out of the cardamom pods. So another tip for you there. Next thing, of course, bay leaf. Bay leaf is bay, so we must add a bay leaf in there. I have some whole clove. So I'm going to use some whole clove in there. Just about 2 grains should be enough. So 2 grains of whole clove. Also want to add some cinnamon. Cinnamon is a really nice spice in porridge. So I'm not going to use a whole stick. I have like half a stick here. and that should be enough to add some nice cinnamon flavor into our porridge. So also going to use some nutmeg up in there, but also considering that I have some mace here as well. If you don't know what mace is a spice that is sold separate to nutmeg, but in reality, if you see nutmeg out in the wild, as in nutmeg growing on a tree, this nutmeg that you're accustomed seeing, if you see it growing out in the wild, as I said, or on a tree, you would see that it has an outer coating or outer shell on the shell. That outer shell is what mace is. So mace is the outer shell that you would find on nutmeg. What they do is they remove it and sell it separately. And this actually has the same or similar flavor to nutmeg, but it's a lot milder. So you know that nutmeg is a very strong spice. If you use too much nutmeg, it could overpower your dish. A little goes a long way when you're using nutmeg. But because the mace is milder, it's a little more forgiving. So you can use a little more and you get that real nice mellow nutmeg flavor without having to worry about it overpowering your dish. Yes, adding a piece of mace in there, and that will give us that nice mellow nutmeg flavor that I was talking about. Because we add it in at this point and it's steeping in the milk, the spices are going to release all the flavors into the milk and give us a real nice, delicious cornmeal porridge. So, before we go any further, very integral part of this process, a very integral step, is adding salt. You always want to add a pinch of salt to your porridge, to your oats, sago, even if you're making sawine. You add a pinch of salt in there, and what that does is allows you to taste all the different spices that we incorporated into the dish a whole lot better than if you didn't. So you want to give this, I would say, 3-4 minutes for it to come to a simmer, not a boil. You don't want it to boil. You want it at a simmer, and I think right now we have a nice good simmer going on here. We have a little steam going on. Of course, you really want to use a whisk. A whisk is the best tool to use to do this part of the process, which is streaming in our cornmeal. Now, similar to when you're making cuckoo, you don't want to dump all of this into the liquid at the same time because you'll end up with lumps, and we don't want no lumps. We want a nice smooth porridge. So what we're going to do is just stream it in, and as we stream in, we whisk in, right? Gradually, little by little. Stream and whisk. Stream and whisk. Right. Again, the whisk is the perfect tool for this. A spoon is not going to give you this kind of result. You see, nice and smooth. You see that? Smooth consistency. That is what I'm looking for. And this, for me, is the perfect thickness. Is, you know, a bit runny, but still thick. I want to add a dash of vanilla essence and 1 tablespoon of brown sugar. That's all I need. If you want to make yours sweeter, go ahead. I mean, I will judge you because why are you using all that sugar? You know? As a matter of fact, I probably could have used half a tablespoon of sugar here, I think, for this. But you know, splurging a little bit today. So 1 tablespoon of sugar should be fine. Give it a taste. Perfect. So before I had the opportunity to dig in and taste it, I had to, of course, take all my photos and my B-roll and that kind of thing. And while I was doing that, the cornmeal porridge actually became solid. It got thick, and I had to put it back on the stove add some more milk and thin it back out to get it back to this consistency that I like, which is, you know, this nice, smooth consistency, creamy as you can see here. And that also gave me an idea that you could create a batch of this and use it as meal prep for your breakfast. So if you wanted to have cornmeal porridge, let me say every day of the week, you make a nice, decent sized batch of this. You could put it in the fridge, and then when you're ready to make a cornmeal porridge, you take out a portion, you add your milk, whatever milk you want to use, cow's milk, goat milk, almond milk, coconut milk, thin it back out to the consistency that you want, and you definitely have a nice, fresh, hot, steamy bowl of cornmeal porridge with less steps, taking up less time. So that's definitely a good tip there if you want to approach it in that manner. But enough talk, we'll get into this. Just taking me back to childhood here. The spices, it's just like mommy and granny used to prepare it now. You know, the clove, the nutmeg, the cinnamon, the bay leaf. And of course, as I said, it's not just there for taste, but also there for the nutrition, the health benefits of these spices. Yeah, man. And of course, you know, cornmeal is a thing that could fill you up and have you feeling, you know, satiated for quite some time. So this is a real nice, healthy breakfast to prepare and to indulge in. So I definitely would, you know, encourage you to try this. Again, another way to use a starch that is an alternative to flour. You know, flour is expensive. You know, people looking for alternatives. We have cornmeal right there. Something that we could be overlooking. I don't know how many people that still eat cornmeal porridge, but it has been a while since I have had it. I usually do oats as my go-to cereal for the morning. If I'm not doing oats, my next go-to is sago. But it's real nice to return to cornmeal porridge. Cornmeal porridge, saying things. So, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and a share. If you want to see the full recipe, I will provide a link to it in the video description. And yeah, good to be back. Yeah, look out for more videos. And as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.